Hi, my name is Nick Carpenter-Brooks. I'm the England Future Roses physiotherapist, and I'm here to talk you through what is in our England Netball Essentials First Aid Kit. England Netball have partnered with Physique to put this together. So if we start with all the essentials from a serious point of view, I always want to make sure that I have my gloves in case there's any wounds or any blood or anything that I want to keep clean to protect myself and the players from infection. On top of that, we have an emergency thermal blanket, really handy for even if you're in a sports hall. If you have a person who unfortunately has a serious injury and they're on the floor for a long time, it can be really good for making sure that we're able to keep them warm. Staying on the topic of the serious stuff, there is a shield for if in the unfortunate event you have to administer CPR and mouth to mouth. So always a good thing to have to look after yourself and to look after the athletes. Moving on, so we have some sterile skin closure strips or stitches, which are really handy if you have any small grazes and cuts that are able to be closed using this, even if they need to be looked at later on. We then have a triangular bandage, which is really good to be used as a sling. So if anyone has any hand, wrist, arm or shoulder injuries, really awesome to be able to hold them in a sling and look after that shoulder until they can get to see someone. We then have our compression tape, comes in small and a larger size. Really good for any injuries that you're worried about might have a little bit of swelling after the game. So if they've had a bump or if they've had a bit of a knee or an ankle twist and you're concerned it's going to swell up, these are really great to get on top of that nice and early. I always like to have a little bit of extra tape in my bag as well to give any extra bits of support for any injuries that happen in the game. And it's a nice one because you can use this for anything around the fingers, anything around the thumbs, and it can be used all across the body. So it's quite a versatile tape to have. If you have your tape, you need to make sure you have a pair of scissors so you can use it properly. Moving on, we've got some small waterproof plasters. Again, any small cuts and grazes or scratches from nails and those kind of things, really good to use to keep the wound clean. And then we have a larger dressing for any larger wounds as well. We then have our instant ice packs. These are awesome again for any injuries that happen in game and you're worried about them swelling after the game. Really, really good to use early on any kind of bruise, any kind of bump, anything around your joints to just make sure that we keep that swelling down. And then we also have some wound cleansing wipes. Again, as we mentioned earlier, if there's small cuts and bruises, really, really important that we can keep them clean and then use our dressings to cover them as early as we can to avoid infection. And then at the same time, always important to have a sterile saline solution as well. These are really good for cleaning out any wounds that look like they might be a little bit untidy. Also really, really good for if anyone has anything in their eye or has a scratch to their eye, really good for cleaning that out and making sure, one, that you're able to see what you need to treat, and two, making sure we keep the wound or the injury nice and clean to avoid infection again. And then last but not least, we just have another larger adherent dressing as well for any of those larger wounds. And that's what we have in our pitchside bag. All of the essentials in the England Netball First Aid bag can be found in Physique's Bum Bag. It can also be found in their smaller run-on bag as well.